the Student Body Presidential Debate. My name is Sam Longlet. I serve as the WSA Speaker of the Assembly, and I will be hosting this debate. I am joined by John Cooper, Chair of the Elections Promotion Committee, and Cori Osterman, Editor-in-Chief of the Western Herald, will be serving as the moderators of this debate. This debate will be split into 4 parts: an introduction, moderator questions, audience questions, and closing statements. Moderators will be asking 2 questions each that have not been shared with either candidate, and following the conclusion of these questions, moderators will choose one of the top 3 highest voting questions on Slido. If you have not already, please refer to the QR code on the screen between our 2 candidates. By scanning this QR code or going to slido.com and entering this code, you can ask questions as well as vote on which questions you believe should be asked. Both candidates have read, understood, and agreed to the rules of this debate. These rules are as follows. Questions will be asked in alternating order. Questions will be asked to both candidates. Both introductions and closing statements will be 2 minutes in length. Responses will be limited to 1 minute in length. Should time expire while a candidate is speaking, they may finish their sentence. The candidate who is asked a question first will receive, if they choose, a 30-second rebuttal. Candidates may have a pad of paper, a writing tool, a bottle of water, and a device to serve as a timer at their podium. Prior to the start of this debate, a coin toss was held between our 2 candidates to decide who will go first. Tate has won this coin toss and has elected to respond first. I will now turn it over to our moderators to begin the Student Body Presidential Debate. Good luck to both candidates, and thank you.
All right, so to begin, we will start off with candidate introductions. Basically, who are you, and what did your interest.
Hey everyone, it's Tay Weirda. I know a lot of you, I'm lucky enough to. I want to start off by thanking all of you for being here. It's snowing, I guess not anymore, which is cool. But you know, we're technically supposed to be off of campus, so I really appreciate everyone showing up, and however many people are online. I'm really excited to be running for Student Body President. I'm accompanied by just an incredible team with Liberty Kostrova for Vice President and Stephen Foster for Chief of Staff. We have a lot of great things planned, and we are ready to bring community here and beyond to Western to really foster this. We have these ideas where we want to help RSO transparency, connect people on campus more, make sure there's opportunities, that opportunities are taken and known about and aware of. There's this gap in information and in connection. We want to establish a renters system for off-campus. A lot of people rent for the first time here. We want them to have their rights. We want endorsed landlords. And then we want to establish a professional certification fund. We want people to make Western and Kalamazoo home, but we also want to prepare people for afterwards. And this is part of that, where we want to help people have these professional certifications that will prepare them and make their resumes attractive, get them ready for time after Western. I think this is a really crucial time. I think this next year is going to be pivotal, not only in all the opportunities that we'll have to make these new things happen, but and that this is a time that we're going to need to stand together as students. I think our student body is going to need to be ready to pull from everywhere, make sure every single Bronco on campus, whether you're arts and science, engineering, grad student, international, here from Michigan, from a different state, we need to make sure everyone is tied together and make sure that we're ready to support each other. It has been a great pleasure to be meeting people throughout the campaign process. We're far from done. We want to keep reaching out to people. We want to hear from you guys. We're committed to being a voice for all students. We are committed to the ideas of community, to empowerment, to representation. And we want to implement some cool stuff.
That is time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Luke?
Yes. Hello, everyone. If you do not know me already, my name is Luke Kritzman, and I am running to have the honor to hopefully become your next student body president. It is not on. Click. Hello. All right.
Give him another 20.
Okay. So if you didn't hear me the first time, my name is Luke Kritzman, and I have the honor of running to hopefully represent all of you guys to to be your next student body president. A little bit about me and our team is that we are nothing but passionate for the student body and the community here at Western. It's honestly the whole reason why I even came here. I wouldn't have chosen Western if it wasn't for the community and the opportunities that this university provides. And I love every second about being here, and I want to instill this in the entire student body. A little bit about us is I'm the current student body vice president. My vice president, Grace Anderson, is the current director for sustainability, and my chief of staff, Caden Jarsma, was the previous president for the Phi Delta Theta fraternity. All of us have had amazing leadership opportunities, and we've been using our roles for the good of the entire student body. You're going to hear a lot of topics tonight that we don't know about yet, of course, but I think that the two of us up here, we have the courage to throw our names in the ring to try to represent you guys. And I see us both as phenomenal leaders, and it's up to you guys, the students, to determine which of us you would like to see in this position of the student body president for next year. The sole purpose of the student body president is to be an advocate for all students. And I hope, if I have the opportunity to be elected, that I can advocate for all of you guys. Because at the end of the day, WSA's responsibility is to serve its students. We hope to empower all of you guys, and we are students, just like you guys. We're not any sort of politicians. We just care about you guys in this room and everyone on this campus. For instance, I'm a music major, Grace is a public history major, and Caden's a psychology major. These are vastly different majors with really little to do with politics. Like, what am I going to do with my piano performance degree? I'm just here simply because I am passionate about the student body, and at the end of the day, we're just empowered students hoping to empower students. Thank you.
So to begin with our first question, how would you try to promote a stronger cross-campus community?
What's to me? Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
How would you try to promote a stronger cross-campus community?
Yeah, so one of the ways that we want to try to promote stronger cross-campus community is just by making sure that everyone knows WSA. And an important way to do that is to bring in outside voices. Like, I've been in WSA for 3 years now. I've been in the legislative cabinet, executive cabinet. I've represented RSOs. I know what it's like in WSA, but it's important to have people that haven't been in WSA, like my chief of staff, Caden. He's kind of new to the system. He's been learning and he's been doing a phenomenal job, but it's important to have people that haven't been in WSA to know where we need to hit. Like, I have my ideas for this group, like Greek life has been disconnected from WSA for a while. We want to bring them in. But at the end of the day, I just want to go out, take in new experiences, figure out where we haven't been addressing concerns and just going out there. I mean, yeah, it's just especially important for all people, especially with all the concerns that have been facing this campus and all the change that's happening, that we go out into the communities, figuring out who needs to be advocated for and what we can do for them. Oh, yes, I'm done.
Then today, how would you try to promote a stronger cross-campus community?
Thank you. I think this is one of our slate's biggest strengths, actually. I'm super happy that all three of us are from different colleges here on campus. I personally am from the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm Spanish, political science, and economics major. Liberty is a graduate student here. Loved Western so much that they came back for another degree. Stephen is from the wonderful College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. And so I feel like we have a really good grasp and connection with these different parts of campus, and that we're prepared to bring all these groups together. We've already been reaching out to engineering, to aviation, to international students, to grad students, because I think they really need, I think it's easy for us here on main campus to have our own thing going on and to be a little isolated, so it takes that outreach to make sure we're pulling voices from everywhere on campus, that we're engaging these students everywhere we can. And like we've talked about already in WSA, one of the lovely things that we've had going on this year is increasing this interdisciplinary connection and collaboration. I think this will foster relationships, so you don't just graduate here knowing everyone who has the same major as you. I think people should leave here with a cohort of Broncos in their network that are doing all these different things, and while they're here, we are prepared. We have the perfect reach, really, to bring all these different groups around campus together.
And then Luke, if you want your rebuttal, you may take it now.
I fully agree with this. We have other satellite campuses. I've only personally had class on East Campus, but I've had the pleasure of visiting the aviation community, and I've seen the engineering college, although I've not had classes there. And it's just really important for us to get out there to where even stepping out of our own comfort zone, because in the College of Fine Arts, I stick a lot to the College of Fine Arts, but I'm trying to push myself out there more so that people can know of our opportunities that WSA possesses. Yeah, thank you.
All right, our next question goes to Tate first. What are your thoughts on the current student involvement in university policy decisions, and how do you plan to change or improve that?
I think it's lovely to see that we have a really engaged student body. I think people show up. Just recently, our Board of Trustees meeting, we had students there ready to talk, to advocate for themselves, and we have these student leaders that are wanting to pull these voices from around campus and make sure that the administration is hearing us. And so on that front, I think it's nice that we already have this set up. We have people that want to be engaged, that want to be heard. I think there's room for improvement. I think we, as WSA, have a unique privilege in having a lot of built-in connections with the administration. I think going forward, with the new president coming in, and with that we'll have a new administration at the university level, I think this will be an opportunity to foster these new relationships. And I would like to use WSA to make sure that our voices are heard all across the university. I think it's really a unique chance here to start these new relationships, to be here ready, standing strong as a student government body, and make sure that our voices are heard.
All right, to reiterate to Luke, what are your thoughts on the current student involvement in university policy decisions, and how do you plan to change or improve that?
I mean, there's always ways for students to get involved. Students are involved in certain aspects, but it's always crucial to the growth of a campus to have this student input. Because at the end of the day, we're the reason why this campus is here. The university administrators should be listening to us to make policy decisions. Like, for instance, in the presidential search, there are 2 students that sit on that trying to find the next president. One of them is in this room, Alex Kasperzak. There are students that are out there in these positions trying to make policy changes, but we could always benefit from just always having more student input. The university tries to get out there and get student input. Like, I know the School of Music is having a director search that they're recommending all students go to, but the university tries, but at the end of the day, our voices are the reason that this campus is the way it is, and there's always more opportunity for growth and more students to be seated at the table to get policy change done.
Tate, you have a 30-second rebuttal.
Thank you. I think Luke's got great points there. I think part of our room for opportunity in increasing making sure that the administration is hearing our student voices and that we're engaged in the policies here is reaching out to more people than just, I think we have a really nice community here, people that regularly show up, and I think we have to be reaching out to new voices, make sure that people that haven't been at the table already know about these opportunities to make their voices heard. I think the administration has, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
So Luke, what would you say compelled you to make a run for the presidency?
The only reason, well, not the only, but the real reason why I'm up here today is just because of you guys, the students. Like, all the positions that I've had in WSA leadership have not been me trying to seek some other goal. It's been, like, when I first got involved in WSA, I was representing Outspoken, the largest LGBT RSO on campus. And it was simply because they didn't have someone. They asked me, I asked one question about WSA, and they're like, come in, like, represent us. I'm like, okay, cool. And I did that, like, September of my freshman year. From there, the College of Fine Arts academic chair position, like it was this year, sat open for a long time. And I decided, once again, in my freshman year, I'm going to throw my name in the ring. I want to represent these students, even though I don't have a full understanding of this campus yet. It's important that someone is out there advocating for them. And I did that from November of 2022 to April of 2024. And even last year when I was planning on running for, I wasn't planning on running for vice president. I had a friend come up and ask, say, you're a great leader. I want to see you in this position. I'm here for you guys. I care.
And then to repeat, Tate, what compelled you to make a run for the presidency?
I think throughout my time here at Western, my motivations for getting involved had just been that I've really fallen in love with our campus and other Broncos. My time here has really been shaped by people showing up for me, professors and other students. And so I wanted to give back. That's how I ended up in the membership chair position in this last year. I was lucky enough to get just tapped on the shoulder and informed of, hey, we've got a position open, apply for it, let us know. And I got lucky enough to be chosen for that, and it's been really incredible to see how our student government works. And I wasn't originally planning on running for student body president. It was the day before, and Liberty, our VP, asked, hey Tate, do you have any interest? I'd love to be VP, do you want to make a slate with me? And I said yes. I felt like this was a really cool opportunity to represent the student body, to give back again. I don't think I had aspirations on where. I just knew that wherever I landed, I was gonna put the work in for all of us.
And then Luke, if you want a 30-second rebuttal.
Yeah, I mean, we both said we weren't really planning on this to begin with. We're just here because we care. Like, a lot of this stems from when I was asked to run for vice president last year. I had no aspiration of this. I'm like, I don't want to really be in the executive cabinet. I'm happy representing the College of Fine Arts. And I took that position, and I am hoping to continue to grow in the executive branch because I was able to represent all of you guys as the vice president, and I'm hoping to continue this as your student body president.
Our next question, starting with Tate, is can you please describe your leadership style and explain how you've effectively used it in the past?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I don't know if you guys have taken Clifton Strength Test. That's a new fun like personality style quiz to know about like some of your leadership skills. On those I've got like developer, input, oh boy, I'm not gonna name all of them, it's hard to remember. But what it really means is that I think leadership is about empowering those around you. It's not about being a monolithic figure. It's about knowing when to ask for input. It's about making sure the people around you know that their voices are heard and then acting on those ones. I think I've been super lucky in developing throughout my time here at Western and having some comfort with public speaking and for reaching out to other people. So I think I have a really active desire to enable the people around me, and in that kind of be a conglomeration of everyone I've ever known. I really do think that's what leadership is all about. It's not about being a single figure. It's about being everybody and supporting everybody.
And Luke, please describe your leadership style and explain how you have effectively used it in the past.
I mean, if we're gonna get into Clifton strengths here, some of my tops are futuristic, arranger, and empathy. And I see those all kind of tying into my leadership style. I'll see an end goal, and I want to do whatever I can and achieve it while bringing in all backgrounds, all people. I want to make sure that everyone is considered in every single action that WSA takes, to know that we are truly serving the students and that we aren't being led astray by just me like, oh, I think this is right. I want to make sure that what we do is entirely correct. My leadership style is one of really the community. It takes a village. Like, WMU's campus wouldn't be the same without every single individual one of us here. There's over 300 RSOs on campus. There's so many opportunities for students. And just being the sole voice of the student body, it's difficult because there are such different backgrounds. And my leadership style is trying to consider everyone's background in order to do good.
Your rebuttal?
I don't think I have a rebuttal to Luke. I think I've gotten to see him throughout this year in the vice president position. I think he's done great work. I think he's a lovely man that knows how to really make community. I think I'd like to answer the second half of the question since I have a sec. This last year in the membership chair position, I've gotten to show these leadership skills in kind of being the first point of contact here at WSA and making sure that everyone knows what's going on, has a point to have their voices heard.
With our moderator questions done, we'll now move on to our Slido questions from our audience. As a reminder, please scan this QR code or go to slido.com, enter in that set of numbers there. And you can ask questions as well as vote on the questions you believe we should ask. Each moderator will have a choice of the top 3 questions to ask themselves, and we'll go ahead and begin with John.
To Luke, in your opinion, what college department needs the most support, and what is your plan to support them?
I don't know if there's a specific, I mean, we all have our issues with our departments. I can't name a single department or college and go, you need the most work. I mean, there's issues that affect all of us. I mean, as a fine arts major, I immediately think, oh, the College of Fine Arts, because that's where I'm from. But everyone has different issues, and all of us have a lot of the similar issues. Like, I know Kalamazoo Auxiliary Services, like the bus schedules, that's been a hassle for a lot of us. Even main campus, aviation, engineering, we all have our individual struggles, and I'm not trying to say your struggle is more important than someone else's, because it's just knowing where these struggles are and how we can make change for all of you guys. There's no one answer to this question, but everyone has our issues, and we want to try to solve everything. Thank you.
And Kate, give me a second. In your opinion, what college or department needs the most support, and what is your plan to support them?
I think I would agree with Luke in saying that I don't think there's one college that's in particularly dire straits. I think the important part is recognizing that each college has unique issues that are facing them. I think with engineering and aviation, I think they have this really strong internal support, but that in connecting to main campus, there's kind of a gap there, and I think that could really be crossed. With grad students, I think the same goes. For arts and sciences, I think it's almost the opposite, where we're all here on campus, and it's kind of easy to get lost in the sea of things, and I think there's an opportunity to bring all these groups together, acknowledge our independent issues, and the ones that we share. I think as a whole, being a student right now is pretty, there's a lot of uncertainty involved, so I think our main need is not to pick one college that has more need than the others. It's to recognize that we as students need to come together and that we all need to support each other.
Luke, if you wish, you have a 30-second rebuttal.
Yeah, and in order to figure out where all these issues lie, I look into the future. If this WSA Constitution passes, that's also on the ballot that we are on, there's going to be a lot of changes. And one of them is removing the Executive Officer for Academic Affairs, as we think that it will be more useful to be in legislative leadership. So as student body president, I will work with all of our academic chairs in order to figure out what problems each specific college has and how we can work together across branches to support everyone.
And to Tate, do you believe your campaign's faculty and staff endorsements degrade the integrity of the student body election? How can we trust you to be there for the students?
I think there's a strangeness to some of the faculty and staff endorsements, but I don't think they're in any weird spirit or anything. I think we're super privileged to have these nice administrative connections, but I do think there's a need to make sure that we're not giving away our autonomy as a student body to staff endorsements, and I think that's something we have pretty deeply in mind. Could you repeat the second half of the question for me?
How can we trust you to be there for the students?
Oh, that one's easy. Like, our priority's on students. We're showing up, we're talking to everybody everywhere. We're not going into these offices in the administrative buildings asking for endorsements. We're showing up, hey, Aviation Student Council, can I come hear what you guys had going on? This morning we were at engineering breakfast, making sure we heard what they had going on. Like, that's our focus above everything else. We're showing up to student events, we're talking to students. That's what we're all about, that's what we're here for.
And Luke, do you believe your campaign's faculty and staff endorsements degrade the integrity of the student body election? And how can we trust you to be there for the students?
I also agree. It was a unique choice to have faculty endorsements, but I don't think that they degrade our integrity by any means. I mean, the faculty that endorsed us, the sole reason for it was they saw the work that we were doing with students. Like, I know we got an endorsement from a School of Music professor, and she's like, the School of Music has been, like, the School of Music administrators have seen the work that you're doing for the students, and they've been applauding us for the work that the students have been doing for the university. This is just, I think, their way of showing, like, the university recognizes you guys and the work that students are doing to promote students. I don't think that they're degrading any integrity of any sort, but I think it is more important that we get the student voices, because at the end of the day, we aren't faculty, we're not staff, we're students. Like, we're here for the students. We'll have ties to faculty in these roles because we'll meet with administrators, but we are not faculty, we are students, we are here for you.
Tate, your 30-second rebuttal.
I think we should probably have a conversation about it before we have more student body elections next year. I think we should probably decide as students if, like, hey, do we really want to cut our own elections off and make sure that it's really students for students, talking about students, getting support from students and all the like. Because I don't think it should be up to the 2 people that happen to run or however many people happen to run and say, hey, oh, am I going to focus on students or faculty? So I think in this next year we should have that conversation.
To Luke, why do you think that you are more qualified than your opponent for this position? What skills have you gathered in your life that supports your answer?
I mean, I don't think there's any qualities that prove me to be a better leader than Tate. We're up here for the same reasons. We care about you guys. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and say like, oh, I'm better because of this, or he's bad because of this. I think the fact that we are both even up here today just proves that we care about all the students. We don't have any specific qualities that make one better or worse than another. We are both up here for the same reasons. I just don't think that there's any qualities that I can give that make me better for this position than Tate.
And Tate, to sort of repeat the question, why do you think that you are more qualified than your opponent for this position? And what skills have you gathered in your life that supports your answer?
I think I agree with Luke. I don't think we need to talk about who's more qualified on this. I think he's got great experience. I think he's done great work here in WSA, and I know that he's had his personal growth here and his development at Western. So I think I'm just going to talk about things that I love about my experience here and my leadership, and that I think in particular I have always sought out friends in every building I walk into. I think it's like a unique privilege here at Western. Like, wherever you go, you can find a friend. And I think that's part of what the student body president is all about, is really showing up everywhere, showing up for all students and making sure, hey, they know who I am. They'll say hey to me in the hallways. You'll see me on campus. You'll see my bean backpack. I'm pretty hard to miss. So I think that is maybe a particular strength of mine, is I feel like I've really had the blessing and throughout the triple majors and having so many friends in concert band and throughout different colleges that I just know people around, and it's nice to.
And then Luke, your 30-second rebuttal.
I mean, I don't have a rebuttal really, but I can also talk about some of the leadership experiences that I really have enjoyed in this time. I mean, my freshman year I was called a campus celebrity. I do not agree with that at all, but I'm like, wow, people know me out there. I'm like, don't ever call me that again though. But it's just, my time at WSA has just been phenomenal. Like, just like Tate, I've been able to get out there more, do outreach with RSOs, talk to people that I've never seen before, RSOs that I've never even heard of before. It's just, this has just been an amazing opportunity for me, for both of us, really. Thank you.
Our next question starts with Tate. What are 3 goals you plan to accomplish in your 1-year term, and how will you achieve them?
Perfect. I think this one is really important because obviously there's a super transient state of student body presidents, right? It's a year turnover. What can you get done? So we got 3 big things. I mentioned them in the intro, but we want to increase RSO allocation transparency, outreach. We kind of want to act to. We've seen it in some of the colleges right now, and we want to use WSA to kind of pool all of this RSO information and make sure that it's getting out there to students. I think that's a gap that we can fill here. We want to make the RSO allocations process easier. RSOs are the lifeblood of our campus, really. We have room to increase the cap to 10,000 probably next year, which is super exciting to give people more space. We would hope to set up a renters system here at Western, and that so many students rent for the first time, and it's a lot to figure out, especially for international students. So we want landlords, and then lastly, we would like to make a professional certification fund.
Same to Luke. What are 3 goals you plan to accomplish in your 1-year term, and how will you achieve them?
Pretty much all of our goals have to do with advocating for the student body and for groups that have previously been like less represented or felt less inclined to joining WSA. One of them specifically is our Greek life community. I mean, over 15% of students are in Greek life or in social Greek organizations. And Greek organizations are not perfect. Everyone will have their issues, but the university response to a lot of these groups has been to punch them down instead of building them up. We have fantastic leaders all across campus, and if we only see the bad in things, then that's just a detriment to all of us. And I want to instill through my meetings with the university president that there are amazing leaders everywhere in campus. Another thing is with the attacks on DEI, we want to make sure that this is protected, as people of all backgrounds are important to our campus culture. It's necessary that we protect these organizations in any way possible. And I'm out of time, but we'll get more later.
Take your 30-second rebuttal.
I think I would like to push back a little bit on some of the Greek life focus there. I actually think I think it's important that we can still hold people accountable when stuff happens. Obviously, this doesn't speak for all Greek life, but I think especially with some Title IX protections lessening and some of issues being centered in that area, I think we're going to need to focus on that. But on his second point, very support. Good one.
And then to Luke, by popular demand, the people would like to know, who can meow better?
Is this a genuine question?
This is a 100% legitimate, genuine question that has like 17 people wanting to ask it. How many? 18 people wanting to ask it.
Are we doing this, Tate?
Yeah.
All right. Let me like warm up here, because this is like, I don't know. I'm being really vulnerable with you guys right now. I don't know if oh, there's lots of phones recording now too. All right. For the record.
Oh, wow.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Thank you. I yield my time.
I would like to congratulate Luke on that one. That was
And then to Tate, the increasingly popular, we're now up to 20 people wanting this question. Who can meow better?
second.
Ooh.
Don't skeet that one. I got time. Do you guys want to hear like a dozen?
Meow. Whoa.
Cut me off if you need me.
Meow. All right, that's enough.
We'll call it there.
And then, as is procedure, Luke, you do have a 30-second rebuttal if you so wish.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna use that time. I think I made my point clear.
All right, then we will move on to the next question.
I think we should have started with that one.
Excellent job. Our next question starts with Tate. What is your plan, if any, to connect students of WMU to the greater Kalamazoo community and make WMU a beacon of the community and not just of education?
I think this is one of the biggest points that we're looking forward to in this next year, if we have the honor of being elected, is we want to get people out in Kalamazoo. There's a bunch of opportunities that I think on campus here it's easy to miss because we're kind of isolated. It's easy to feel like Western is an island with a city around it. So I've already been talking with people. I think, for example, at the Student Rec Center, they are wanting to have guest like lessons and stuff like that. You know, bring in people from the community. We've got cool dancers and cool artists and things like that. Bring them in, say, hey guys, this is in the city. Try it for free here, and then know it's downtown. I think WSA has a unique opportunity to create some institutional relationships. I would like to send a representative to the city commission. I think it's important. Students make up a huge part of this city. I think whether or not they have any voting power, make sure we have someone there to listen for us and to speak for us. I think we need to make sure that the city has our voices in mind.
To reiterate to Luke, what is your plan, if any, to connect students of WMU to the greater Kalamazoo community and to make WMU a beacon of the community and not just of education?
Yeah, so once again, looking at the Constitution changes that are on the ballot, we're making a new position. The University Pride Executive Officer is becoming the Executive Officer for community involvement. So we're going to be contractually obligated to going out there into the community. And some ways that we can do this is even in our student center, when you go down the stairs in the heart and turn left, that corner is Discover Kalamazoo. We want to partner with them to see what opportunities are available downtown and how we can get students out there. I mean, we have the metro buses. Even if you have cars, you can go downtown too. But we have the metro buses that are all free for students that take you directly downtown. We just want to partner with downtown Kalamazoo, really in anything in Kalamazoo, because downtown Kalamazoo has their own website. They have their own support programs, and if we can get some support, if we can throw our name in there, we can probably get some perks for WMU students in downtown. I know they do things like downtown dollars. Like, what can we do for the students in there? I would like to take some looks at that.
Tate, you have a 30-second rebuttal.
I'm just gonna keep rolling. So there's this cool newsletter called Now Kalamazoo. They pull a bunch of stuff from all around. Hey, these are events going on in the city. I think they should be on campus. I think we should have that at all different corners. So, because I think so much of it is just we don't know what's going on. We are informed about our Western affairs, and then the city has their own affairs. So like, let's get people that pull information from the city on campus so students can know about all the cool opportunities we have going on. I'll leave it there. I have more to say on that.
And to Luke, how will you serve a diverse student body considering the current attacks on DEI?
Yes, so national politics, they can be scary. I mean, they're going to affect all of us in one way or another, and a lot of attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion will most likely affect us. I mean, we've seen it affect the federal government, aviation, and the K-12 schooling systems. And public universities are most likely next. In a lot of ways that these programs are targeted is specifically with the language. Like programs that include the words diversity, equity, and inclusion often have to be scrapped. And one way that I'd like to try to work around this is we can keep these support programs, but just trying to tweak the language of it, changing the name. Like if DEI is something we can't say, we can make it community wellness, where we can keep our programs open, but we would just have another name for it. And other ways that we would like to support this is finding ways to uplift our social justice fund. That's something that has been severely underfunded, really, because we rely on it for Giving Day. We want to look for other opportunities to expand this fund to affect more students on this campus.
And then to reiterate the question for Tate, how will you serve a diverse student body considering the current attacks on DEI policies?
I think this is going to be one of the most important topics in the next year. I think, I don't think it's a time that we can really shy away from national politics like this. I think it's going to have some direct impact on students of all creeds, and I think in particular, like we're going to need to hold strong on what we believe in. So our campaign is we're committed to DEI values. Like Luke said, if they take our titles away, if they take our words away, that doesn't matter. We can keep what we're doing in place. We can get scrafty about how it's presented. Oh, is that 5 or is that 30? Thank you.
Didn't you, wasn't it?
Okay. I think this is going to be time that we as a student organization are going to need to make sure that we are reaching out to these groups. We're an incredibly diverse campus. Our student enrollment is up, and like a lot of our new students are Spanish speaking, they're Hispanic students. Like this is where a lot of our growth and our student body is. So I think not only do we need to be a voice for these people, but we need to be reaching out to these people. We need to make sure that they have our numbers, that we're showing up to their events, that we're promoting them, that we're giving them all that they need.
Okay.
And then Luke, if you would like to have your rebuttal, it is your turn.
Yeah, I think one of our biggest disadvantages as a slate is that, look at us, we're 3 white people. Like let's address the elephant in the room, but that means that we have to be extra committed to defending all of our students. We want to make sure everyone's voice is heard. We are a safe place for everyone. We want WSA to be as comfortable as it can for all people. And in addition to that, we have an entire team we can hire. Like, we want to bring in diverse experiences, diverse backgrounds. Thank you.
Our next question, starting with Tate, is how will you amplify the voices of and represent marginalized people on campus, especially immigrant international students, LGBT students, people of color, etc.?
So first and foremost, I think that we as a student organization need to make sure that we're taking this opportunity next year to foster a diverse group of leadership. I think we need to make sure that people from all around campus, people of all walks of life, have people showing up, or that we are inviting people to show up and be leaders. Could you repeat the second half of the question? Sorry, really quick. I want to make sure I got it.
How will you represent marginalized people on campus, immigrants, international students, people of color?
I think we are at a super cool point in that we are a connection between all these different RSOs. We have great RSO representation of our diverse student population here. And we're reaching out to these people. We want to make sure that they are using WSA and that WSA is enabling them, giving them the money that they need, and making sure that they have leadership positions here. On the international student front, I think it's going to be a scary time. There's a lot of impact there. They will have all of our support. We'll need to talk more about that.
Same question, Luke. How will you amplify the voices of and represent marginalized people on campus, especially immigrant, international students, LGBT students, and people of color?
I mean, once again, I encourage everyone to apply for a cabinet position. We want everyone. We want all these backgrounds on our cabinet so they can make change. In addition to that, I've been in my position as vice president trying to do outreach to these groups that I'm not a part of. I've reached out many times, and I've met with organizations like the Native American Student Organization to know what their needs are on this campus and what we can do for them and how to just promote better understanding of different groups on campus and how we can uplift specifically immigrant students. It is a scary time when the university is saying have your documents on you to make sure that you are here where you're supposed to be. It's really scary. We just want to make sure that we are here to protect all of our Broncos and that everyone feels safe on campus, and we will do everything we can with the university administration to make sure our students' needs are met and they are feeling safe on this campus. Because the role of Western Michigan University, the motto is that so all may learn.
Take your 30 seconds.
I don't think I have a rebuttal. I think Luke did really good on that. Yeah, let's leave it.
To Luke, the number of students is declining, not because campus isn't inviting, but because costs are high and the focus is no longer education, but beautifying campus. What will you do to address this?
I mean, this is a very unique, not unique. It's not unique at all. Every college is facing this issue besides U of M and MSU and I think Michigan Tech. Every college is experiencing declining enrollment, and it's really, what are students looking for in colleges? If we're seeing less students show up here, what do the students want? We are the advocate for students, and we want to see what students want here to make sure that they come here and be Broncos. So we are unique because the university administrators haven't been in college in years. I mean, we are here right now. We know what we wanted, and we want to see what other people want to make sure that we're meeting all the needs. It's really difficult as students to create this policy change to encourage other students to join, to come to Western. But in our time here, just knowing that we are a supporting community, being the community that people want to see and seeing all the opportunities that are available for them, as well as growing on opportunities that we're lacking. We need this outside knowledge to know how to grow.
And then to repeat the question for Tate, the number of students is declining, not because campus isn't inviting, but because costs are high and the focus is no longer on education, beautifying campus. What will you do to address this?
I think this is a really important point. I think we all like the cool new buildings they're making here. We're here in the ballroom right now and it's lovely, but we have to make sure that their focus is on us students and not just having buildings for the next group of students to come sit in. Today we had the person come in, and I love that we were all here ready to say, hey, this is great stuff, but how are you making sure that students right now can afford this? How they're saying there's going to be less housing in the valleys. I think we're going to have to make sure that they know that we need them to know that we are their priority. I Sam, did you give me 5 seconds?
No.
Okay, sorry. Can you repeat the question?
The number of students is declining, not because campus isn't inviting, but because costs are high and the focus is no longer on education, but beautifying campus. What will you do to address this?
Thank you. Okay. So I think we need to figure out what we're all about here at Western. Do we want to be U of M? Do we want to be mid-sized college? I think we have some great stuff here. We need to advertise that. We need to own what we have already. We have programs you can't find anywhere else. Our aviation stuff is like top 6 in the world. Like, we need to make sure people know what we're about, what we have that makes us special, and then prioritize the students that show up here.
And then Luke, of course, you have your 30-second rebuttal if you so wish.
I think this question also kind of ties into the question that was asked earlier about students having a place with administrators. And I think that we as students know best for our education. I mean, well, we're here to learn, but we know what we want with our education. And I think just trying to advocate for more student seats in really any university talk, that's going to be the thing that really helps us grow, because we want to be able to help make change instead of having change forced upon us. We know what's best for us, and we want to fight for our other Broncos.
Next to Tate, when it comes to allocations and the problems it can bring not only to RSOs, but to the directors, how do you plan to ease the stress allocations can cause?
This one's going to be a focal point for us. We've already talked on this a little bit. I think there's, the allocations process is a little complex, and some of it's necessary because, there's tax laws and all the things, but like, we want to make the process easier for you guys to get the money that you're entitled to. We want to make videos to walk you through things easier. We want to make sure that there's grace when necessary. We understand that it's confusing. If you mess up a couple times, once or twice, we have a strike system that we don't use very much. We can implement that instead of rejecting people's allocations appeals. We can raise the cap to 10,000. That's something that we're really looking forward to next year. We have the room for it in our budget, we think. So I think this is a key point for us. We can make the process more understandable because it's confusing. I'm a treasurer for the Pre-Law Society, and like, I've gone through their e-learning stuff, and I know like, hey, this thing doesn't quite line up, or I don't quite understand this little thing. Like, we want to make sure that people have the resources that they need, and they know that where they can ask questions, and that they get the help that they need so they can get their allocations.
Over to Luke, when it comes to allocations and the problems it can bring not only to RSOs, but to the directors, how do you plan to ease the stress allocations can cause?
I mean, we're all human. We're not perfect, and even our allocations directors, they are in this for the benefit of the student body. Everyone will make mistakes, whether it's people filling out their budgets or even those in charge. Like, we just are always looking for an opportunity to grow, and I think one way for us to be able to overcome these challenges is just like every time bylaws gets changed for allocations, there's always a little bit of confusion. Like, it would be nice to do more workshops to know what specifically gets changed on your budget proposals so that you guys don't have to go through the stress of being denied deliberations for a month, and the directors don't have to go through the stress of having to deny you guys. Because in a perfect world, we want to say yes to every single budget proposal that comes through WSA, but it's just really hard when we have all these rules in place, trying to make sure that students abide by the rules. We just want to make sure that these rules are known so that we can benefit as many RSOs as we can.
Tate, your rebuttal?
I don't need to rebut. He's got great points, but I have points to talk on. I think another opportunity we have is making sure that RSO leadership and their knowledge carries on. Like, when you have a great treasurer for 2 years and they handle everything and you got it all good, and then, someone new takes over and they need to relearn everything from scratch. Like, that's starting over from zero does not help our RSOs. It does not help our allocations team. So we want to make sure that RSOs know how to, hey, pass on this info to the next person. Who's going to take your place? Make sure that they're ready to fill the mantle when it's their time.
To Luke, students will not be able to afford the new residence halls that are proposed. Rent is also high. Without studying, or without housing, students cannot focus on studying. Your thoughts?
I mean, my immediate thoughts are it's difficult for us as WSA to change the prices of our tuition and rent, but it's important that we make it known to our administrators, like our priorities, like new residence halls being freshman only. That's scary for some of our sophomores that are looking for housing on campus. It's really just, once again, advocating to our administrators and seeing what we can do. Like, is there any possible way that campus housing can be cheaper for all students? It's just a very hard question to tackle as student body president, but we want to make sure that all student voices are being heard and knowing exactly, because we can change policies, but we can't really make policies for the university. It's just difficult because we can't set the prices, but we can work with business and finance. We can see what we can do to make life better for all students and cut down costs if possible, and where.
And then Tate, students will not be able to afford the new residence halls that are proposed. Rent is also high. Without housing, students cannot focus on studying. Your thoughts?
I think this is a point that WSA can really step in on. I think there's a lack of information on how do you rent an apartment. Like, people show up here, they're in the dorms their first year maybe, or they're transfer students, or they're international students, so they might skip that process. Like, I think we want to push the administration, hey, build a bunch of housing, make it cheaper. We love the cool amenities, but like, give us numbers. And then when people get off campus, let's make sure they know what's going on. Renters' rights, guides to how to deal with amenities and what's the word I want for like gas and electric? Utilities, thank you. And like, let's do a WSA endorsed landlord list, or at least an information guide of, hey, these are the big actors around here. Here are the housing complexes you can be off campus. Like, it's easy to be blind on this going in, and like we can fill that gap. We don't need people to wait till their senior year to know, oh, I should have done that better, and like my housing was weird, and like I was stressed about it. Like, no, here's how you can use your scholarship monies to pay for apartment housing. This is how you can find good units, you know, and not live in weird, dingy places. There's cool houses in Kalamazoo.
And then to Luke, your 30-second rebuttal.
I mean, I don't really have much of a rebuttal. I think a renter's rights and vocab guide is really important for all students. I guess the only sort of pushback on like an endorsed landlord list is making sure that we're not crossing any like legal boundaries, like making sure that we're working with the university to know what we can and cannot do as our capacity as WSA, because the area kind of gets gray when we're telling students where they should or should not live. But I do like the idea of this. I just want to make sure that as WSA, we're doing the right things and we don't get in trouble afterwards.
Now, to Tate, what would you do differently from previous presidents?
Ooh. I think we're really fortunate in recent times to have some really nice WSA leadership. I don't feel a need to say that they shut up and they did bad work or that they missed opportunities. I think they got good stuff done. I think the biggest thing that I would like to work on is maintaining like a unified WSA identity and goals and missions, and have the ability for us to carry on the work of the presidents that came before. I think Alex has done wonderful work. I think there are things that she wishes she could have done a little more, and then, you know, had other stuff come up. So like, I would love to take everything that we have done as WSA, keep going with it, and then pick up what we wish we could have done a little more.
Luke, what would you do differently from previous presidents?
I mean, there are some different things because the Constitution is being changed. So the role of the president and the president's cabinet will be changing, like a lot more community involvement. That is in our Constitution now. I mean, we've been trying to do community outreach, but that's gonna be something that we are going to do now. And really, WSA is very unique compared to other colleges in Michigan. Like, the relationships that we have with our administrators is not something that other universities really have. Like, if we have issues, we could just text one of the administrators and say, hey, this is an issue, what can we do about it? And they'll respond to that. It's really, we are in a good place of leadership for communication with our administrators, and they want to enact change that we bring to them. If it benefits the students, I don't think there's many specific things that I would do differently from previous presidents. It's really just making sure that all students are advocated for, and that the university knows that we have the intentions of the students and we are the sole voice of the student body.
Tate, you have 30 seconds.
I think I would add to that in saying, I think something that the executive branch as a whole could probably do more is make all that they're working on known. I think there's kind of a void of what happens there, and I think it's easy for people to be like, oh yeah, like that's our president, but like, and there's our director of whatever, and like, but like, what are they doing? So I think we can fill that in having, hey, let's present on I'm the director of marketing and outreach. I'm doing incredible work, and here's what I do, you know, and like, so I think that is a space. So then students know, hey, I can go to that person for this thing. They can help me with that, you know?
And then to Luke, if you were faced with a situation where there was no clear solution, how would you approach making a decision?
I mean, the student body president is not the only person. It's all about making, like, knowing our resources and knowing our team around us. We want to hire a team of qualified and passionate individuals for our executive cabinet. And even outside of the executive cabinet, we have a judicial branch and we have legislative. We have you guys, the assembly, and there's a legislative cabinet. We have so many students at our disposal. I mean, not disposal, but like, that are here for the benefit of other students, that at least someone out there will have an idea on an issue if I do not know it. And we can always collaborate. We work together across branches, across departments, across colleges, and even with our administrators. Like, that is the role. We have a really good support system and outreach with many different perspectives of students. And that is something that if I don't know, I'm going to go to my support team so that we can make the best educated response to any issue.
And then to Tate, if you were faced with a situation where there was no clear solution, how would you approach making a decision?
I think that the answer to this is twofold. I think firstly, like Luke said, is remembering that the student body president does not need to act alone. They do not need to be the one to have all the answers and the only one to have any of the answers. I think building a team that you know, has this wide spread of experiences and knowledge and know-how is incredibly important. And beyond that, I think connecting with students on campus when it matters to them, knowing what people think. You know, it's not just, hey, the student body government's going to do what they think is best for us. No, like let's reach out. Let's hear from you guys. Hey, this impacts this group of students really well. Let's make sure that I know everything that they think first, and I can act for them. I don't think there's any need to act alone. And secondly, I think it's remember what we're here for. I think if I have a hard choice and it's, hey, this one supports students more and this one doesn't, I'm going to pick the one that supports the students. You know, that's what we're here for. If we want work for the university, we'll leave that to them. We are here for the students.
And then Luke, your 30-second rebuttal.
I don't really think I have a rebuttal to this. We said our points. I don't think I have anything else to add.
That concludes our audience question portion of this debate. We'll now move on into closing statements. Tate, as you begin with your intro first, we'll allow Luke to begin with his conclusion first.
Where are we going? 2 minutes. So, you've heard a lot of wide variety of issues brought up tonight, between just national politics really to tuition costs, housing, and just advocacy in general. And both of us up here, we are excited to tackle anything that the student body may face. We are committed to the student body, and now, having heard everything that we've spoken about for the past hour, it's up to you guys to decide who you think will be best for the future of WSA, the future of the student body, and the future of WMU. I just implore you guys to make sure that you are choosing with your heart and with your mind, to know that everything that we do, you support. Our campaign is meant to empower all students, and I hope we were able to do a little bit of that tonight. Thank you.
Tate?
I think I'd like to start my closing statements by, again, thanking everyone here. Thank you, the moderators. Thank you, John Cooper. He's our elections chair here. He's really putting in the work to make this like a serious thing. I think that's really fun. I think we're bringing in different parts of campus. Like, hey, let's go interview with the Herald and with Wyther. Like, it's cool stuff. You know, I think we have some institutions here and we're putting them to work in an election. I think that's lovely. I think we have a great team. Stephen, Liberty, and I think we have a wide range of experience. I think we have a wide range of skills, and I think we are ready to serve as student body president, vice president, and chief of staff. We are never done growing. We're always going to learn more. We're always going to be committed to students. But we have great ideas to bring to the table, and we are going to keep hearing from you guys. I think this is a pretty crucial student body election as far as they go. And I think you're really blessed that I don't think Luke is a bad decision. I think this is a nice one. You know, it's not terrible or incredible. Like, I think there's either way our student body government's going to be okay. But I think I would like to end it with an invitation to reach out to us. We have a lovely website and we have a lovely Instagram page. It has more info about us that we didn't quite get to here during the debate. It has our emails. It has ways to get in touch with us. And we are not done hearing from you guys. We want to keep showing up to events. We want to keep having emails about whatever matters to different students on campus. So yeah, we're incredibly excited. We would be incredibly honored if you were to choose us for student body government. And reach out. Thank you.
That concludes our student body presidential debate. I'll really quick hand it over to the chair of the EPC to talk about election.
So first, do you want to stand up? All right. So, hello guys, John Cooper here, chair of the Election Promotions Committee. I'd like to begin by thanking both of the candidates to come out tonight and participating in the interviews last week. Voting week, or the 9-day span that we're calling a week, begins on the 19th and goes to the 28th. Both of these candidates will be up for election, and one will be selected as your student body president, and then their running mates as the executive board for the next year. I have big ideas for how well this is going to turn out, and I'm confident that this election season is going to be a record-breaking one. And it has been quite an honor to be able to moderate one of these debates. Thank you, guys.
As we close out tonight, I would like to first thank all of you for being here tonight and sticking with us over this rather snowy evening. I would like to thank the two moderators sitting next to me, Cori and John. And finally, of course, I would like to thank our two candidates for being oh so brave to stand up in front of you all today. I hope you all have a very safe commute home. And to everybody joining us online, don't forget to like, subscribe, westernherald.com. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.